The world watched in astonishment as Canada, a steadfast ally of the United States, made a decisive move to distance itself from its southern neighbor. This decision, announced in early 2025, sent shockwaves through the international community. Canada's cancellation of the controversial F-35 fighter jet program, opting instead to explore European alternatives, marked a significant shift in the geopolitical landscape. This decision was about more than just fighter jets. It reflected a growing unease with the United States foreign policy and a desire for greater strategic autonomy. Canada's move towards Europe, a continent often seen as a beacon of multilateralism and international cooperation, has the potential to reshape the dynamics of North American security. It raises questions about the future of the US-Canada relationship, a partnership once considered unshakable. The implications of this decision extend far beyond defense contracts, reaching into the heart of global power dynamics. The following sections will delve into the intricate details of Canada's decision, examining the motivations, the potential consequences, and the long-term implications for Canada's place in the world. This is a story of shifting alliances, evolving threats, and a nation grappling with its role on the global stage. The F-35 program, touted as the future of air combat, had been plagued by controversy from the outset. Cost overruns, technical glitches, and concerns about its overall effectiveness had dogged the program for years. For Canada, the F-35's allure had begun to fade, replaced by a growing sense of buyer's remorse. The initial 19 billion Canadian dollars price tag had ballooned, putting a strain on Canada's defense budget and raising questions about the program's affordability. Beyond the financial implications, political considerations also played a crucial role in Canada's decision. The Trump era had left its mark on US-Canada relations, with trade disputes and inflammatory rhetoric souring the once close partnership. The annexation discussions, though shrouded in secrecy, further fueled anxieties about the United States' long-term intentions toward its northern neighbor. The cancellation of the F-35 deal was a clear signal that Canada was no longer willing to overlook its concerns about the program or its relationship with the United States. It marked a turning point, a recognition that Canada's national interests were no longer aligned with those of its powerful ally. The search for alternatives began in earnest, with European defense contractors eager to fill the void left by the F-35. With the F-35 out of the picture, Canada found itself at a crossroads, facing a complex array of alternative fighter jet options. The European market, with its emphasis on collaboration and technological innovation, presented an attractive alternative to US dominance. Saab's Gripen, a Swedish-made multi-role fighter renowned for its agility and cost-effectiveness, emerged as a strong contender. The Eurofighter Typhoon, a joint project between the United Kingdom, Germany, Italy, and Spain, offered a compelling blend of capability and interoperability. France's Dassault Rafale, with its proven track record in combat operations, also threw its hat into the ring. Each option came with its own set of advantages and disadvantages, requiring careful consideration of Canada's specific defense needs, budgetary constraints, and industrial partnerships. However, navigating the international arms market is a complex endeavor, fraught with political considerations and potential pitfalls. The United States, despite Canada's pivot towards Europe, still held significant leverage. Many European fighter jets incorporate US-made components, giving Washington potential veto power over their sale. This was a stark reminder that even as Canada sought greater independence, it could not entirely escape the gravitational pull of its southern neighbor. The cancellation of the F-35 deal was more than a defense procurement decision. It was a symptom of a deeper rift in the US-Canada relationship. The Trump era had left an undeniable mark, characterized by trade disputes, tariffs, and a distinct lack of diplomatic finesse. Trump's suggestion of annexing Canada, though widely dismissed as outlandish, had nevertheless struck a nerve, exposing a vulnerability in the Canadian psyche. The annexation discussions, though their details remain murky, served as a stark reminder that even in the 21st century, notions of territorial ambition and great power competition had not entirely vanished. For Canada, a country that had long enjoyed the luxury of a relatively peaceful and secure existence, the prospect of a more assertive and unpredictable United States was deeply unsettling. The F-35 cancellation in this context was a shot across the bow, a signal that Canada was no longer willing to be taken for granted. It reflected a growing sense of unease with the direction of U.S. foreign policy and a desire for greater strategic autonomy. The quest for European alternatives was as much about diversifying away from U.S. reliance as it was about acquiring new military hardware. Section 5. Bombardiers concerns ripples in the aerospace industry. The cancellation of the F-35 deal sent shockwaves through the Canadian aerospace industry, with Bombardier, a global giant, emerging as a vocal critic. A significant portion of its business is tied to U.S. defense contracts, and the cancellation could jeopardize its access to the American market. The CEO warned of potential retaliation, highlighting the interconnected nature of the defense industry. Bombardier's concerns underscored the complex economic considerations at play. The F-35 cancellation represented an opportunity for European firms, but also risked disrupting established supply chains. The Canadian government faced a delicate balancing act, seeking to assert its independence without harming its aerospace sector. The debate highlighted the difficult choices in a globalized world. Strategic autonomy often comes at a cost, requiring careful consideration of economic consequences. For Canada, the decision was about more than new fighter jets. It was about redefining its place in a changing world. Section 6. Motivations for change, defense, politics, and public opinion understanding. Canada's decision to abandon the F-35 and pivot towards Europe requires delving into the multifaceted motivations behind this bold move. Defense needs, evolving political realities, and shifting public sentiment played significant roles. The Ukraine conflict exposed vulnerabilities in Canada's defense posture. The F-35 was seen as ill-suited for hybrid warfare and Arctic disputes. Public opinion turned against the F-35 due to escalating costs and unproven capabilities. Negative press coverage made the F-35 a political liability. The cancellation was a strategic recalibration to align with evolving national interests. Pivoting towards Europe emphasized multilateralism and collaborative defense initiatives. Section 7. Towards Europe. Forging new alliances. Canada's decision to explore European fighter jet options marked a significant shift in its defense policy, signaling a move away from its traditional reliance on the United States and towards closer collaboration with European partners. This pivot towards Europe was driven by a confluence of factors, including a desire for greater strategic autonomy, concerns about the direction of U.S. foreign policy, and a belief that European defense industries could better meet Canada's evolving security needs. The potential benefits of closer defense ties with Europe extended beyond the acquisition of new fighter jets. Collaboration on research and development, joint training exercises, and the sharing of intelligence were seen as opportunities to enhance Canada's military capabilities and interoperability with key allies. The move towards Europe also held the promise of deepening economic ties and fostering innovation in Canada's aerospace sector. European defense contractors, eager to secure a foothold in the Canadian market, offered attractive industrial partnerships and technology transfer agreements. Section 8. Implications for North America, a continent in flux. Canada's decision to ditch the F-35 and pivot towards Europe sent ripples of uncertainty throughout North America, raising questions about the future of continental defense and the long-term trajectory of the U.S.-Canada relationship. The move was seen by some as a sign of waning U.S. influence and a potential crack in the bedrock of North American security. For the United States, Canada's decision represented a diplomatic setback and a missed opportunity to further integrate its northern neighbor into its defense industrial base. The cancellation of the F-35 deal, coming amid strained relations and ongoing trade disputes, added another layer of complexity to an already delicate relationship. However, Canada's pivot towards Europe should not be interpreted as a complete break from the United States. The two countries share a long history of cooperation, deep economic ties, and a common commitment to democratic values. Section 9. Conclusion: Canada's bold gamble. Canada's decision to cancel the F-35 fighter jet program and explore European alternatives was a bold gamble, one that carried both risks and potential rewards. It represented a rejection of the status quo, a recognition that the old certainties of the post-Cold War era were no longer reliable guides in a world of shifting power dynamics and evolving security threats. The long-term consequences of this decision remain to be seen. Whether Canada's pivot towards Europe will succeed in enhancing its strategic autonomy, strengthening its defense capabilities, and fostering closer ties with like-minded allies is a question that only time will answer. What is certain is that Canada's decision has sent a clear message to the world. This is a country that is no longer content to be a junior partner in a unipolar world. Canada is charting its own course, seeking to define its own place in a multipolar world, and willing to make tough choices to safeguard its national interests.